This document is literally older than I am. And I don't mean rhetorically. Yes, the Declaration of Independence is incredibly, incredibly old. No, this physical copy is literally from 1990. So it's been around longer than I have. My name's Hunter Estes, and I'm the Director of Communications for the Mississippi Center for Public Policy. And my point about this is this. We can hold this physical paper and many others like it around the country for as long as we want. But if the ideas that are written on it, that were etched down, put to paper all those years ago by Thomas Jefferson, don't live in our hearts and minds, then they're valueless. Because the fact is, if the ideals of freedom, which were first passed down to us by our founding fathers, aren't communicated to the next generation, then this whole fight, this whole American experiment is for naught. And that's the problem, is today in American schools, we are fundamentally failing in any way to pass on these ideals of freedom, what we first wrote down all those years ago on this piece of paper. How many students read this document firsthand today? It's too few. I left the college classroom just a few years ago, and I tell you what, the college campus today is a cesspool of illiberalism, a place that you would dare to see the ideals or discussion of the Declaration of Independence, what should be these campuses that are meant to pursue truth and discussions of freedom, these American campuses. It's just not happening. And so that's why I'm standing in front of the Capitol today, because my concern is not about what's being voted on right now, who's in there right now. My question is, who's going to be there 20 years from now? Who's going to be there 30 years from now? And what's going to be discussed? Because the fact is, if we fail fundamentally to pass on these values that we hold so dear to ourselves and to this country, to the next generation, then all is for a loss. But we have a chance. We have a chance before us. If we can communicate these ideals in new ways, if we can pass on this fight for freedom and teach it to the youth of today, then we have hope. And the ideas can live on no matter what. This document is physically from 1990. But the words and the declaration are from hundreds of years ago. If we want to see these ideals live on for another 300 years, then it's about what we do today. And it's about who stands in that building 100 years from now.